than looking in the mirror and figuring it out on their own. So, hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Linda and I have had quite a discussion off air.
Oh, I said we should have had this on air. Freedom of speech. Talk about ranting and raving. You want the news to really get you wound up?
Yeah. Well, I did. I made the mistake. I watched a Tucker Carlson clip this morning from yesterday, and that's what got me all fired up. I tell you what, go on YouTube and watch Crusoe's 12th birthday party from yesterday.
Okay.
We watched it live. And Crusoe, the celebrity dachshund, turned 12 years old. And we got to watch him and his sister Daphne open up all their presents.
Yeah, that's about the only thing anymore, the animal clips that don't really get you wound up. Want to go out and, punch something.
That's right. That's right. Hey, let me ask you this. You have a composting deal tomorrow. Tell us about that.
If you've always wanted to know what to do with all those potato peelings and peach pits and, whatever else you're using in your kitchen, instead of throwing them in the trash, I don't know, maybe you never have, but, if you've ever had that thought, there ought to be some use for this, now's the time.
Okay.
You can come down there and learn how to compost. I said, this is the best way to reuse, because you are obviously reusing parts of these things that you were eating prior, and it's the leftover pieces. Reducing waste, so it's not going in the garbage in the dumpster to the landfill. Recycle. My goodness, this was once a full potato, and now it's granularly stuff that you spread on your plants. So, and there's all kinds of ways to do it. You could start out with straw bales, and there's worms that are involved, or could be. It doesn't have to be. I know there's little containers that you can even put on your kitchen counter for composting. It doesn't smell. That's the great part. Of course, it's going to have a lid because it generates heat, and but I'm not saying you're going to leave it in your kitchen. You'll most have a container or a little bin or a little fenced-in area outside to do all this, and then you have the rewards of it for your plants. So, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, First United Methodist Church Fellowship Hall / gym, whatever you want to call it. Robert Flynn from the New Mexico State University Ag Science Center here in Artesia will be teaching.
Okay.
Probably an hour and a half. So we'll have you out by noon.
Okay.
So you have the rest of the day to do chores.
Yeah.
Get ready for trick-or-treating downtown, or, whatever it is that you need to do on your Saturdays. So
yeah.
We won't be wasting much of your time, and it won't be a waste of time.
No.
You just are going to have to get up and get over there.
You're going to recycle some of your time.
Yes.
So questions like, how big a space do you need for compost?
Right. If you really want to get into it, you could probably have a 3x3 area in your backyard with a, chicken wire frame around it. Or in a smaller scale. So you're going to learn all these things.
Yeah, I just have some house plants. How much compost do I need?
And it'll last. It's not like it's going to rot. It's already rotten. So you don't have to use it up. It doesn't have a shelf life.
Okay.
So, and it's amazing what will compost. You could put a 2x4 in there that's cut up. How wood rots anyhow. But you don't need to go out and rob your wood pile for this. I'm just saying that these
2x4s are kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, they're kind of expensive too. So, unless you've just got wood scraps or something laying around. But, and then there's a little bit of work to do, with it. Once in a while you have to turn it because it's generated heat, and you want to keep that going. And it'll last, until you use it up.
Okay.
So...
But you can keep adding to it.
Oh, sure. And there you have a never-ending supply.
Yeah. Like how long from when you start until it's ready to be used?
The bell goes off and say, ding, the timer's up already.
It's done.
Yes.
So these are the kinds of questions that Robert will be able to answer.
Yes. And you will, from start to finish, you'll learn all these things. So.
Yeah.
And this is, shall I say, in honor of America Recycles Day, which I know is not until November 15th. But, when you have somebody's schedules to work with, you get these things in, these events in when you can.
Sure.
And
so do folks need to call ahead of time?
It would be nice if you'd give me a holler today, and you can call our office at 748 513-405-3192. And remember, everybody has to dial 575.
That's right.
I tried to dial somebody yesterday, and that number you have dialed is,
it's not on your poster.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to be smart enough to know that. But yes, or you can even call myself, 513-0143.
575?
Of course. Naturally. You know, we're not being persecuted. I know there's like 17 states that are having to do this, and then there's numerous prefixes that are in there, not the area codes, but now they have to dial their area codes. So it's not just us. You know, I got the list, and it's like, oh, there's a lot of us around here.
So it wasn't just New Mexico.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places that have to do this. So
yeah. So any questions you have about composting, setting up a compost, what you can compost, any additional things you can add, timing, all that other good stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to smell like the dairy up here, so you don't have to worry about, your neighbors saying, "Oh my goodness, what is that horrible smell?" That's not happening.
Composting.
Yes. No, we're not going to end up smelling like the dairy, so you don't have to worry about that. So
that's good. So that's tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., First United Methodist Church Fellowship Hall. Please call Linda.
Yes.
And let her know that you're going to be coming to the class tomorrow.
All that has to do with is snacks. So we need to know that you're coming, and how many chairs, obviously.
Yeah.
And really, the only thing you might want to bring is a little notepad.
Yeah.
So,
which you could recycle into compost.
Yes, you probably could. Throw the paper in there. Yes.
Because what is the origin of paper?
Wood. Trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how we.
I'd like to see a toothpick factory. Because those are wood. They started with a tree.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they don't waste the entire tree just to make toothpicks. I'm hoping that maybe there's other things that are made first, and then with what's left over.
Or the whole tree is made.
Or the whole tree is a toothpick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always thought those were kind of disgusting myself.
Toothpicks?
Because people get them and they poke around in there and get the food out, and then who knows what they do with them.
The wood part is not disgusting. It's these dang plastic things that are curved that are all over the ground. Oh, those are the worst things ever.
I was picking up trash this morning in front of the radio station. I was, got the blower and kind of shifted the dirt around again like like we normally do, and I went out there and somebody had Lunchables for lunch, because here was the package, and some other things that I picked up off the ground. I never have understood that. At a very early age, it was beat into my brains that you don't throw things onto the ground. We had the trash bag. This is before the super centers and all the plastic sacks that people got. Everybody got paper sacks when you went to the store, but we would get the plastic, trash bags, and we'd hang them from the cigarette lighter.
Because they were little litter bags. What they were little. Yeah. I have boxes of little car litter bags.
Yeah.
And now you have to figure out, where am I going to hang this thing?
Yeah, because we don't have cigarette lighters in cars.
You don't have door handles. You don't have,
touch screens and all that.
Yeah. But you could still put one in there right behind your seat.
Well, yeah, but at a very early age, it was beat into my brains to don't throw stuff on the ground.
Yes.
So I don't know, when did that stop? The beatings? No, I mean the education.
I don't know that part. I have no idea, and it's very sad. Well, do it. Don't you just hate that when you get warmed up and it doesn't happen?
Yeah, but I guess that's part of what needs to happen. I guess as a parent, and you got the kids in the car and everything, that's, I guess, where it starts. You see the kid throw something. You need to teach them. Well, if you do, then you stop, you go back, and you make that kid go out there and pick that sucker up. Yeah, and you do it every time they do it until they stop doing it. This is not acceptable behavior. Yeah. Yesterday I was picking up the stuff from the businesses that I pick up for recycling, and I make the rounds once a week, and I was out at CVE, and when I was coming into the parking lot, there was this huge, and I thought it was paper, but it was foam, a big long string of white foam that was packing in the middle of the street, and I thought, okay, do I want to? Yeah, because if I look at it any longer, it's really going to aggravate me. So, I walked out there in the middle of the street, and here's this huge giant bolt that I couldn't see. And I thought, well, that's great for somebody's tire. That get kicked up and... Or, whatever. And another rag thing and a long piece of this white paper foam that... I had to fight with it because it wouldn't wad up nicely. No. But when I got to the truck, I have a trash bag in there. Yep.
put it in the bag. And I thought, all right, fine. Whoever lost this, how many people have seen it? It could be picked up by somebody.
Yeah.
Because it's going to blow and end up. We have to be the solution. Yes, we have a problem. And probably a lot of us generated it. I didn't. I don't drop anything on the ground because I cannot sit here and preach to pick it up if I am part of the problem. So it's just like weeds. I cannot sit here and tell you to clean your alley if my part of my alley is nasty or my curb. No.
I mean, how many times with the lovely wind that we have?
Oh, my goodness.
You had somebody in the car with you. You stop. Both of you open up your door.
Oh, Lord, you can't do that.
and then half the guts of the car get blown out onto the sidewalk. So don't let it float around in your car.
Yes.
But if it does blow out of your car,
it's your responsibility to go chase it.
Responsibility, go get it and gather it up and put it in the trash bin.
I walked to the post office the other day. Well, I walked through the parking lot north of us, and then I made the circle. And on the way back, I came back in front of the gym and whatever else. That street along there is disgusting, and there's no other way to put it, people. The flower beds are horrible. In front of Edge,
safety,
whatever they are, yes, safety. Why they think throwing cigarette butts on the street and along the curb and in the flower beds is an okay thing to do?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Get the grass that's coming up and the weeds and the cracks in the sidewalk and the curb. Get out there and clean your curb. If there's cars there, the street sweeper can't catch it.
Right.
And, they may not go to work at 4 a.m. before cars get there, depending on what's going on. It is disgusting. Yes, our main street is wonderful because Sean keeps it immaculate. He's out there every day with a blower, getting up every little morsel of leaf that falls.
Yeah.
Well, we need to be part of that help.
Yeah.
You can't lay it all on them. Their main street, not all the side streets, which,
that's right.
There's not enough money to be able to pay these people to do all this extra stuff. But it's your responsibility. That's your front door. Is this what you want your front door to look like? Do you care what impression people have?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they never look at the ground. Maybe they just wander in and think this is the way it always has been, and that is another one of the 7 sources of litter. Well, it's always been there, so we'll just add more to it.
All right. Margarita wants to hear the rest of your husband's story.
The rest of the story. Okay. Well, I was director of the Chamber of Commerce at that time, and I had volunteers that would deal with the tourists because we were also the tourist center.
You wanted to hear the rest of the story, too? Okay.
Okay. Lana is hanging on, by a thread here. We're waiting for the rest of the story. Okay, let me go back to the lead-up. Prior to that, I was blaming Obama for us having to see color.
That's right. That's
and race,
exactly right. Yes.
So, and he started this crap. He really did. If you think about it back there.
People voted for Obama. A lot of people voted for Obama. A lot of white people voted for Obama, in part because of what I call white guilt. And he is half African.
Right.
From Africa. His father's from Africa. So a lot of people voted saying, well, this will prove to the world
that they didn't want Hillary.
Huh?
They didn't want Hillary.
Well, this is true, but no question about that. I mean, they didn't want Hillary so much. Trump won, But anyway, so anyway, a lot of people voted that way, I believe, because now they could say, see, I'm not racist because I voted for a half black man to be president of the United States. So he gets elected, and a lot of people looked to him and at that as saying, this is finally going to end racism in our country, and it's going to bring our people together.
All it did was make it worse.
Yeah, that's what it sure looks like.
Yes. Well, another discussion I had with a friend who said, oh, he won't get elected, and he gave me all these statistics and stuff, and I wish I'd have bet him, a couple of $1,000. And I said, yes, he would. Yeah. He will. And, of course, I didn't see him because they moved, but he was going to get elected no matter what. First of all, Democrats are they get elected easier. For whatever reason.
Right.
There's more crazy people out there that are Democrat that vote. Plus the fact that he was black. So it was going to be racist if he did get elected, and it was going to be racist if he didn't get elected. So there, it was.
He was going to get elected, but he did get a lot of votes, and he did get a lot of support, and there was a lot of support for him when he first got elected. But anyway, take this back to your story with your.
The story of when we were also the tourist center.
Okay.
So we had obviously tourists coming in and wanting information of where to go. So I had to have volunteers who would greet and, provide pamphlets and all this. And so one day I was at home and my husband said, "Who's that black lady that works down there? Or who is that black person that works at the chamber?" I said, "There's not anybody that's black. What are you talking about?" "Yes, there is." I said, "No, there isn't." "Yes, there is." I said, "Don't you think I should know who my volunteers are?"
Right.
I said, "There's Mary and Carlos, and there's George, and there's Mary Ellen, and there's Sandy, and Glenn, and and I went on and named it, because I had a different one every day, and then Sunday.
Yeah.
He said, "Well," I said, "there's not anybody." "Yes." So I went through the names again. Still didn't come up with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And he's insisting that there is, and I'm thinking, this is getting a little wild here. You would think that I would know who my volunteers are, and I'm getting a little wound up.
Okay.
So I started each name carefully and visually looking at their faces in my mind, and I got to Glenn Special. She was an elegant, highly educated, funny black woman.
Okay.
I never saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Oh, you must, I guess she is black."
Yeah.
I didn't think about her as black. I thought of her as a funny, cute, highly educated, smart, wonderful person.
Volunteer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was the only argument. And I lost. Because I didn't see color.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine and I were saying, we got into this discussion years ago. It says, if so-and-so disappeared, this I think was our UPS guy, we went to school with him since first grade. How would you describe him to the cops if he disappeared?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing she said, "Well, he's Mexican." I said, the first thing I would say, he's, 5'7", 8", dark hair, wears glasses, average build,
mm-hmm.
A little dark complected.
Would you say Hispanic male?
In those days, we didn't call anybody Hispanic. They were Mexican, and that was not derogatory. That's just what we were,
right,
they were.
But now you can't.
Yeah, well, I still want to know what country is España. Or Hispanic,
Yeah.
Whatever. But he was Richard. I didn't see color.
Mm-hmm.
He was my friend for life.
Yeah.
And now, since Obama made us see color, because when you invite the cop or the guy to come and have a beer with you in the Rose Garden because, we got into a tussle with a black guy or whatever.
Yeah. No,
we
you're right.
shouldn't have to see color.
You're right. That particular incident, that was a professor, black professor at a university, Ivy League, and was, according to him, harassed by the cops. And that's when Obama had the big sit down. Instead of calling up the professor and saying, "Look, you racist dummy, cop was doing his job, shut up."
Yeah.
Instead of that conversation taking place, we had to bring the cop in because we had to educate the cop on why the cop was wrong. No, there's a lot of that's going on, and unfortunately, over the last few years, those people that think that way are now in charge. Mm-hmm. And that's what's highly influencing our marketing, our advertising, our culture.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood.
Well, you can see that on commercials right now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, whatever happened, after, what's his name, George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't enough of this race on this or this race on that. The commercials totally changed.
There's been a lot of that,
totally.
Too. Yeah. That's why I'm so glad I don't watch over-the-air television, because I don't see it.
And now you see, the mixed race marriages or on the commercials or anything else.
Well,
and is that the way the real world really is? Because I don't see a lot of it here, and maybe in other parts of the country
advertising is reactionary to what they perceive will get the best reaction to move the needle to get people to buy their product or think of their company in a positive light. I think advertising is a reflection of the mindset of the country at a particular point in time. Not all of it. Some of it is meant to be influential, but most of it is reactionary, because at the end of the day, all these companies want to do is sell their stuff.
Sure.
And so they're going to put forth what they think will be received positively in order to sell more stuff. And if that's the perception that they need to do that, then that's what they're going to do. Whether it's an accurate reflection of what's going on in the country or not is somewhat irrelevant. It's what's going to minimize the amount of complaints on Twitter, what's going to minimize the amount of complaints we get on social media, and some people will feel positive about a product if it's advertised or presented in a certain way. And so that's a lot of what marketing is done. Some marketing is meant to influence, and you'll see that in advertising that doesn't really talk about the product that they're advertising, but they're trying to portray some kind of message. But again, I think a lot of it is influenced by the fact we don't want to get attacked by the social media mob and the Twitter mob, so this is what we're going to put out in our advertising. And then the people that are questioning that or somewhat offended by that, where do they go? What do they do? What can they say? How can they react? And because they can't, because they're not by and large on Twitter. They're not by and large using social media to that type of use. They use social media because they want to see what the grandkids are doing.
Right.
And they're not on Twitter because they're like, what's Twitter? What's the point?
Yeah, I don't need to tweet. I don't have time for all of that stuff.
Yeah. So it is a weird time that we're in right now, trying to figure all this out.
And how far does this pendulum have to swing before it comes back and we start being rational again and having common sense? Somewhere it has to come back. Somewhere you have to think about logic.
There's some speculation that as a result of what we're seeing now, starting with, we could see an early sign of it Tuesday with the Virginia gubernatorial race. Because McAuliffe is a big-time Democrat, big party Democrat, and he's in real trouble. And what is he in trouble for? He's in trouble for critical race theory, and this insensitivity to thinking that parents have no say-so in the education of their kids. And you have a lot of parents who don't think about politically, Democrat, Republican.
Right.
But they sure think about what their kids are being taught in schools.
Yeah.
And they can't believe that their leaders are telling them that you have no say-so in the education of your kids, that critical race theory is wrong, transgender stuff is wrong. I don't want my kids being taught or exposed, or, I'm the parent, let me teach them that. And so it's that issue. And McAuliffe over the weekend with Obama and stuff tried to blame Trump for everything. And I think it's falling flat on its face, because people are saying, Trump had nothing to do with this. You're the governor. This is our education system. This is our kids. Trump didn't fly into Virginia and say, you need to teach all this stuff.
No.
And you know where a lot of that got exposed was during the lockdowns, when kids were learning at home, being taught at home on Zoom, and the parents were walking in and going, what in the heck is this garbage that is
I knew I should have brought glasses today.
But anyway, we're at 9:30, so I do have to go on. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we could talk for a couple of more hours.
Right, but I think Tuesday's going to be an indicator.
Get out and vote. And you can still early vote here.
That's right, through tomorrow. And then next year in the midterms, I think, is when we're going to see just what you said. Has it been enough to bring the rational people out and say, we're getting rid of this bunch and we're putting in some people that...
Well, rational people are going to have to... Don't think that they're going to get elected without your help. You have to go vote.
That's right.
I mean, even this election, okay, it's school board.
Yeah,
and
go
mill
vote.
levies.
Go vote.
The mill levies need to pass, because that's our schools and our hospitals. If you don't like somebody that's on the school board now, or you think somebody could do a better job or is more to your liking, go vote.
Yeah.
Don't think, it's
like
not
the
going to make
people that are
any
there
difference.
Now and think they're doing a good
That's
job.
wonderful, fine.
But go vote.
Yeah, those that are running that are there now, incumbents, you still, because, it could be broken by one vote.
Yeah.
And somebody else could get in. So you still have to do your part.
That's right.
Don't sit there on the couch thinking, oh, well, it's not going to make any difference.
Yep.
So do that.
All right.
And call me if you want to compost.
There you go.
748-3192.
575.
Or, yes, we know the 575. Or 513-0143.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your blueberry muffin.
Oh, I will. I said, I've been treated like royalty. McDonald's muffins.
Yep.
You need to try them, people.
There you go. Don't just try it. Just eat it. It's good.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go get one. It's yummy.
All right. Thanks, Linda. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Artesia